Hey, Drawing 2. Sorry I've been gone. My family is fighting the flu or something that's making us feel pretty horrible. So I'm going to replace my teaching today because I don't want to lose time with a flipped video. So this is the introduction full on for your next project. And so I'm going to go through it real quick and then send out a couple reminders to you. All right, so Creative Color Solution. You are using the knowledge of all of the schemes that we created together in your color scheme zine. You're going to select one and create an artwork of your choice. So how can you apply a specific color scheme to create an artwork? This is where I want you guys to think way outside the box and start thinking of the knowledge that you have gleaned thus far, either by color mixing, what colors look good together, the video you guys watched about, how color harmonies seem to work. And so here you have a bunch of different examples where most of these students use the entire color wheel. That is a possibility, but I would want you to be specific that yes, I did use the whole color scheme as the tool, but if you can break it down smaller, that would be appreciated. So ways that I want you to think are maybe outside of the norm of drawing. And so here you have a student who hammered nails on a piece of wood and then layered the colors of the color wheel on top of each other. So a different way to look at how those colors react and look. You could make a mobile. You could paint, if you look up here, like shades, hues, and tints of a color in some type of graph. This student made a whole bunch of cupcakes and experimented with colors. So we're happy to try your cupcakes as well. Think outside the box. Think about where you can find color. These are all from paint swatches of a hardware store that you could cut and make into different shapes. You don't actually have to paint anything. You don't have to draw anything. But how can you adopt what you already have maybe into something that represents a color scheme? So at the conclusion of the project, we will have a critique and we'll share solutions by presenting your images to the class. The photograph is acceptable if the work is temporary. Let me specify. If you did a makeup look, you want to document everything that you have done there. If you're doing some type of a baked good, you want to document that as well. If you're doing a chemical reaction experiment, you want to take pictures of that, but you also want to be documenting that in your sketchbook as well as far as your planning. So think about how you're actually going to show the rest of the class what you did if it is something that can't physically be brought in. So it's very, very important in your sketchbook, starting on page 13, that you're sketching, you're planning, you're writing your ideas of development and what you think you're going to do. If that means that you are taking pictures, printing them off, or printing off pictures online of ideas that inspired you and put them in your sketchbook, that works too. Here are a few other examples. An example of somebody just using plastic bottle caps. You have also M&Ms, making all the different colors, magazines, if you wanted to have some type of abstracted image, if you wanted to really get intricate with designs. Last semester, I had some students who are really interested in digital artwork. And so this is all made on a computer with a pen pad. Also this one over here, she's definitely into character design. And so you see a lot more of the interest coming out. And that's really what I want to tap into is what is your interest? What do you like to do? And if you don't know, then what can you do to experiment? So I'm going to show you a little bit of the planning that I'm wanting you to think about. This is a student sketchbook from last semester, and you can tell that she exceeded the pages that I allowed, but she is sketching what she wants to do to repurpose a jacket that she bought like at Salvation Army. And so she is making detailed notes of the design, the colors, how it's going to fit, what it's going to look like. You see color swatching up here, but really taking those ideas in her mind and putting them onto paper. So here is what she came up with. And I really wish she would have taken a picture of the before jacket, which did not have any of these snowflakes on it and none of these clasps and none of this like faux fur. But she took it all apart and then repurposed and sewed it. And if you know Bethany, she does a lot of our stage production costumes. So this is a passion of hers. And I was excited to see her passions come through in this assignment. So what you can see here is that we have warm colors coming through. So that's the color scheme that she selected. This student thought the box wasn't even possible, but she was looking at how can she look at monochromatic, so you see her notes, instead of analogous, and she's thinking through all of this here. And so she thought white carnations, put in colored water solution so that they become colored. And so she's looking at how can she display this, and so she's going to do like a macrame holder for them, but very thought out, right? She's looking at how much is it going to cost? How is she going to do this? Whoops. I have one slide out of place. But what she discovered was during that time, she couldn't find carnations. So she thought she'd try it with daisies. And so here you have her cups of different amount of blue food dye coloring. And she was really upset because this is as much as they turn blue, and we couldn't figure out why it was not taken the food dye. Was this a risk? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Yes. Did it come out pretty awesome anyway, and I could envision the intention? Yes. Did she still do very well on this? Yes, because the idea is there. The product turned out wasn't exactly how she wished, but pretty darn close. So very, very creative and a beautiful display. Here are a couple others. Sorry, I go back. Cool color. She just wanted to paint with acrylic paints for the first time. This student really loves ceramics and decided to make a plate using all the different colors. And if you've ever played with glazes, it's hard to get some of those colors. So I was very proud of that outcome. And so what I'm wanting you guys to be thinking of today is, how are you going to take this idea of having a color scheme and then making this into an artwork? I've had everything from people designing baseballs and drawing on baseballs to coming up with temporary tattoo ideas. But I think of it like math. If you've ever written down an answer and then you didn't get full credit because the teacher wanted you to show your work, it's the same idea. You can research online. You can be inspired by things that you see, maybe even have pictures in your phone of places you've been that you could create an artwork from. What I don't want, however, is just to come up with the solution. Just because you think the answer is 4, great. But I need to see evidence of your thinking. And that's where that sketchbook comes in. So with the knowledge that you have from your color scheme zine, your investigation of how to create colors, the video that you watched about color harmonies and how they play and act, it is now your turn to decide, how are you doing this? What materials do you need? How big is this going to be? What type of media? And so everything that goes into this project should be documented so that we can see, how did you get to this end result? And that will be part of your presentation. Now we'll talk about due dates when I return. But as of right now, I really need you to be invested in your planning. And then if you begin to develop, please start. There's paper in the columns over there, or if you need something else, feel free to bring it in or ask another art teacher or email me and I can purchase those things for you. Lastly, I see a lot of you have not uploaded your color scheme zine. Please make sure you do that in Student View. I know third hour I messed up and it wasn't open, so it is open for you now. And then also you'll see a color investigation upload area when you mix paint with your partners. Each of you should take a picture of that and then upload that into Student View as well. I'm really hoping to be better by conferences, but I don't know. So I'm hoping that you guys can hang in there and do a really good job working hard so that we can get these going right after conferences. Thanks so much for all your hard work. I miss you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.